Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, you can mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. Do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dharma practitioners, before we start our practice session, we'll take few minutes to clarify ourselves how this meditation can help for our day-to-day life, and at the same time, how it can nourish your spiritual development. So, when it comes to our ordinary life, there is a key nature happens that governs as the foundation. So as you take your body, if you separate it to two parts, and then you can get into the bottom line of this piece, the material, is which we call atom. And even the atom depend on energy. Then it come to the very end is empty. The energy itself, electron, neutron, and proton. So see this, when the electron, neutron, proton come to certain level and tune to certain rhythm and synchronize, it can appear as something. Even though it is very tiny and very sharp, and even with this physical eye, we cannot see it. And how about trillions atoms come together? It appears as physical. And the electron, neutron, protons, if you take the electron out of it, then in that electron, still that you can recognize the neutron and proton, and then in the depth that you recognize the heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness, 4 elements. And out of that heat, if you take the heat out of that all other 3, and then if you divide the heat, even in that heat, you recognize the motion, liquidity, and hardness. And then when you separate the hardness and you look into it, and then you recognize heat, motion, and liquidity. So like that, in the depth, it is nothing. But how about when things come together, it appears as something. So that is very physical. And is scientifically, even through inside the labs, they recognize it, that they prove it. So then what the wisdom that we can gain out of it? Why it is important for us to know that mechanism? So your mind happens the same way. Your self build up on the names and the forms, and through the experience, the same thing. Your happiness, unhappiness, sadness, worry, disappointment, any kind of mental views come the same way. What is that way? So as example, in day-to-day life, listen this very carefully and get it. Try to be with me. In day-to-day life, what's happening, consciously or unconsciously, we collect little the experience that we go through. Maybe in the morning, you want to wake up in a certain time. You thought, okay, today I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock. And then maybe you had a plan to do some meditation or exercise. Just I imagine, maybe it was not in your plan. I just imagine, even because imagination, sometimes it is good for you, to start like that way. So anyway, so you had a plan to do that way. So then when you wake up, so the alarm, keep going on, and then you wake up and it's a 5 o'clock, then still you don't want to get up, and you want to get out of the bed. You just lying down there. And then maybe you get up at 6 o'clock, maybe you get out of the bed 7. So you already see that you already went 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hours, somehow you then start to do certain things. And on the way, maybe, so things didn't happen exactly the way you want. So maybe you had idea to drink a coffee or tea, then maybe you got disturbed, and then you have to do something, it got disturbed. Maybe if you want to do the breakfast, it got disturbed a little bit. So like that, things little by little, when you collect, when you come to the middle of the day, you feel so miserable. It's for a day, not about the life. So now you can apply to the life also, same mechanism. There is no reason. If you feel about the whatever you feel about life, even the good or the bad. So in the middle of the day, you feel so miserable. The day is kind of like, but it is not the day. The day underneath, silently, the day keep happening to you. All the whatever that is the life happening to you, and the life always in a one-way journey, and there is nothing bad happening to you in the depth of your life. If you able to have enough wisdom to understand that, even to recognize your life as miserable also, it's a kind of like a blessings that you have within you. But when the misery becomes so strong, we cannot see, we cannot recognize that the blessings that we have. So anyway, how that life became, the day became miserable for you, half of the day became miserable because you collected little incidents. The same thing in your life, knowingly or unknowingly, we collected little incidents. In any, even that if you separate any incident from your life, not everything. So whatever you mention as miserable or sad, worried, disappointed, that incident became disappointed or miserable because it is just not one incident. Underneath that, there were little incidents. So if you have the ability to understand it, and then you can get out of it. But so far in this journey, in this eons by eons, that the samsaric journey that happening to us, what happens? So that naturally we have this collective nature, collective consciousness, collective awareness. We deeply underneath hold that mostly unpleasant situations. We hold it, we harbor it, we allow it to settle down inside us. And that becomes the influence for you itself, again, to bring that unnecessary, unhappy, sad, worry experience. Because that whatever we collected inside us and has power to invite the same kind of things. It's unconsciously happening sometimes. You know, we have the muscle memory, this all the material memory, this physical memory. So as you know, the garbage can that you keep, you know, the trash you keep, you know, the same place. It happened unconsciously. Maybe you cleaning, you know, after the end of the cleaning, that all the dust come to one place every day, unconsciously. You keep doing that, you're collecting it to the same place. So the same thing in our mind also. When you're able to collect these little unnecessary things, what happened? It bring it towards that way. Then your heart become, your mind become, your brain become, even your entire body, your consciousness, your awareness become a place to collect all the unnecessary disturbed experience. So that is what itself is called the sanskara, or the cankers, mental formations. So the mostly, and because we don't collect the good things, it's mostly not it, and we not have the ability to collect that. Why? Because we have to build up the nature to collect all the unnecessary. So in the very first level, then what you have to do? So start to use the same energy, same mechanism to change the pattern. So then what you have to do? Because you have nature to collect. So in the very first level, you cannot cut it. You cannot separate it from you. Why? Because of that nature, you become who you are. So it is the current that you have. So underneath, that is where you keep going. So there's the beautiful words you hear, the motivation. So the motivation, the very word, that the very root connotation of the motivation is coming from Latin move, towards something. What is the reason that you move forward? So in day-to-day life, breath by breath, of our awareness move forward. So then why you move forward? What is the reason? What is the motivation that you have? So deeply underneath, when you have this collective nature, what happens? So that collective nature become your energy. So listen this very carefully and try to catch it. So your collective nature become the energy. So as example, that as I mentioned from the beginning, half of the day that you had all the unhappy situations, then you collected that all. So then half of the day that become your energy you build up in you. So that energy start to invite the same kind of energy. And then when it invite the same kind of energy, what happens? You start to move towards it. not only that it come towards you, you also start to move towards that. So then when you look for certain things, as example, when you start to decide, become a nature lover, then what happens sometimes? The beautiful things can come to you. And at the same time, you start to go towards the beautiful nature. So the same thing in the energy also. So then it becomes your motivation. Why? Because that allows you to move towards it, but it deeply happening inside you. So then your motivation, that sometimes we think it is the outside reason. No, your motivation happening inside you out of your collective nature. So whatever you collected, create your motivation. That's your desire. So then imagine that. So another thing is that the motivation, and another thing is that the emotion, the same root. Energy in motion. So what is the energy? That all the collective nature you develop, as you collected all the unhappy memory, and then what happened? Half of the day you feel unhappy. So then it become your energy. So then it start to move, and that movement itself create the current to push you forward. So when the people in emotions, what happens? They go towards something. So then your emotions itself become your motivation. Now you have to understand, even though in a very conventional word, the motivation words we appreciate, the very root has the same meaning with the emotion. Sometimes we don't give that much validation for the emotions, but the motivation, we say, oh, we have to have the motivation to do something. But remember, all the things with the related to the greed, hatred, that the delusion in the world, they have the most strong motivation to go towards something. So then when it comes to meditation, you have to remember to drop the motivation. You cannot meditate with the motivation. Why? Because you allow your inner current to move towards something. When the inner current go towards something, you cannot recognize. Why? Because you are caught up in that current. It not allow you to recognize. It not allow you to observe. It not allow you to analyze. When you are inside the motivation, when you have motive. So when you are in the emotions, the same. When you are in emotions, you have no right to analyze. You don't analyze when you are in emotions. Forget about that. Just let's do it. So you go for that. Have fun. Then later, maybe after everything settled down, maybe then you wake up and start to think what I did. Maybe after 1 year, 10 years, when you look back, when that energy start to shift to different level, then you start, oh, I did something, but there's no way to reverse. So the meditation is this is what you have to understand. When you come to meditation, don't keep any kind of motivation inside you. You have to let everything to settle down. That itself bring a lot of good result to you, profitable results to you. Why? Because through this entire samsara again, that this everything around us came out of motivation or came out of emotions. That is huge. So we living in the current. So everything around you sometimes Even the cloth that we are wearing have, a certain kind of the identity that related to maybe emotions. So as example, you go to, that shopping mall and maybe you wearing something and, kind of like you putting certain cloth and then and you feel, oh, look good. So I look pretty, or I look handsome. Maybe you influenced by your own emotions. And then emotions, it's not going to, they are like, as example, it coming from, it create a motivation inside you to go towards something. This is the important. It allow you to go towards something wherever the same current exists. That is the key point. That means if it is come out of the greed, it take you towards the greed. Even you find a person, if that person says something the same, appreciate you, oh, you look so good, that means he also go through the same current. That is the power. That is where you are the magnet. You going everywhere. You bringing that all the unnecessary things towards you. Maybe for the moment you feel good, but later you caught up in the trap. So how you can clean up this? How you can get into the bottom? So in the very first level, you have to remember and change the pattern, because we are in the pattern. We itself become because of a pattern. This human world, all this, the samsara, in this entire universe, caught up in the patterns. So then what we have to do, use the same patterns to break the pattern. That's why, that is where you use the emotions to be intelligent. So that is where your motivation you use to get out of the current. So how you can do that? So in the very first level, and start to develop a method to collect all the good things happening in you. So even though you see little tiny, that all the unnecessary things, forget about it. Don't allow it to come to you. All the good things collect around you. There are many things happen from beginning of the day. So as example, maybe you had the intention to sleep, wake up 5 o'clock, and then you sleep for 6 o'clock, and then you can think, oh, 1 hour I got rest. Maybe I'm going to have a busy day. Maybe the next things I can do more productive way. Why? Because I have the enough strength to work hard for them. So then you're not going to worry about what you miss. So then in a certain level, that entire, when you start to get into that, your entire body start to go towards in a different way. So as ordinary people, we need that, because that our life depend on the motivation, that all the emotions and all the current, until you come to the certain level of tranquility state and the certain level of the stream level of awareness, you cannot deny it. So then that whatever things in day-to-day life, all collect, that is where you need the awareness to collect that. Drop the little, unnecessary things in the moment and get the good things. You can do it. Why? Because one incident, maybe it is a very little incident. So as example, while I keep talking to you, so this bottle fell down like this and make a sound. And then, if I start to think, why this bottle, I was talking to people and this is a meditation class, why this sound came to, so maybe then another sound come, another sound come. So like that, another thing happened. So like that, I collect that everything, end of this session, it become miserable. But it is a one incident. I can drop it. I can, stay away from it. I don't need to take it. It's a one incident. It's very easy to let go. So like that, little things happen everywhere. It's very easy if you able to recognize it as a one incident and let go it, rather than collect that whole bunch of things. So that is where you have to use the awareness in day-to-day life. Whatever the little mistakes happening, drop it at that place. And all the good things happens when you start to recognize, and even any good things not happens. So if the worst things happen, and then you have to find a way to understand. Even that worst things happen like that way, you're still alive. So that's mean it's all good. End of the day, if you're breathing and if you have power to recognize that all the bad things happen to me, that's mean it's nothing bad. The real bad things didn't happen to you. Why? Because you're alive. So that is enough for you. You have the life. So then you have to appreciate that at least. So like that somehow, that is the power of human mind. You can bring a reason. Remember that. We depend on reasons, but the one of the beauty of the human mind, you can bring a reason to any incident. There is nothing in this world depend on preconditioned reasons. Remember that. We are the one who giving reasons to things. So then bring that power to your life. Be conscious to give a good reason in front of you for your own life. And that become an ability for you to share your life with whatever happening with other people. Don't bring a bad reason to for their life. And be a person yourself to bring a good reason for them. Even they are in the misery, sad, worry, unhappy, in the middle of the hell, you be a person to bring the good reason for them. Because they are helpless. They cannot do that. Maybe you hear this, now you know the method and you practice it, you become the person. Whatever the worst thing happened, everybody says, oh, that is so bad. You are the one who need to bring a good reason to that. So you have to practice it with yourself. That is the power of human mind. So bring a good reason and keep collecting. And so end of the day, even not 1 hour, if you keep doing that, you feel like so energetic. You feel so powerful. You know what happening deeply? From electron, neutron, protons to, the atom to your particles, subparticles, and your all the entire body start to energize. Then you start to perform as a whole person. That is where this holistic life comes. As a whole person, that's a complete person, you start to perform. So whatever happening from that point, it's kind of like you giving a jump start. And then naturally, as I mentioned that, because the emotions, your motivations, that start to go towards that, it start to invite the same kind of currents towards you. So then when you become more satisfied, comfortable, happy inside you within that 1 hour, you know what happened? In the very next, the first minute of your next hour, it start to bring something good towards you. So then you come to a point to change the current and go in a different level of experience. So in a certain level, your body, mind, and your breathing start to function to a certain level, and it balance to the same frequency. So still you are maybe depending on this material things, the physical world, but now deeply, you don't have the misery, sorrow, sadness, worry, disappointment, unhappiness. and then you get out of the fear. That is where the real game starts. Because if you have the fear, you're not going to step forward towards that to look for something. Fear, the very dangerous thing, it holds us back. The worst thing when it comes to fear, it not allow you to be who you are. It not allow you to experience the highest of capability that have inside you. That is the strong nature of fear. When you become afraid or when you have the fear, it not allow you to experience 100% as who you are. But now you start to come to a point to experience yourself to the highest. So then what happens? Your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. So whatever the perception come towards you, it become very clear. That clarity. So our purpose is not having and settle down there, camping there and keep experiencing and go with that. There is a joy, but our purpose is go beyond that. So once you have come to that level, and deeply there is something else happens. It is not your emotions or it is not your motivation. You change that pattern and you come to this level of experience because underneath you develop your awareness. So then your awareness become more stronger. Why? Because remember in the very first level, to drop the bad incident and collect the good incident, you became very mindful. So then you did it for 1 hour unknowingly. Then the awareness become more sharp and clear. And then when it come to the peak level of experience, underneath, your awareness become more stronger than your motivation, than your emotions, than the current that you keep going, than the things happening around you. Your awareness becomes stronger. So once your awareness becomes stronger, clear, sharp, and once it start to function to the 100% clarity, and when it become 100% clear, you become your own master, you become your own guru, you become your own teacher. These lectures or the talks or the practice or anything anymore, you're not depending from that. And that is what you need. Not this physical, not this material. Bring the highest level of your awareness to perform. Recognize, because that is the level that you tune to the nature. And that is where your perception become your recognition. In between that, there are no thoughts, there are no experience, there are no any kind of mental formations. With your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, all the perception happening in that very moment, the recognition comes. It's exactly 100% accurate. And when it comes to that, you recognize there is no such a thing called self separate from that experience. There is no concrete, unchangeable soul exists somewhere without that experience. That experience itself is you. When you are able to come to that point to recognize, then your transformation, your liberation, your nibbana going to be in front of you. So that is where we keep going. That is what happening out of this meditation. And so what we need to do in the very first level, just allow your body to settle down and bring your attention to in front of your nose and your upper lip area. And even your mind start to bring any kind of a stories or any kind of incident, I would try to go to past or the future. Don't go with it. Just keep focused to the sensation of your awareness, the inhalation and exhalation. Be with it. In a certain level, your body, mind, breathing will settle down. And once it settles down and deeply recognize that sensation or the awareness that you go through and recognition, moment by moment change, you can see it in that level. So once you're able to see that, you will see underneath this whole experience, all happening, there's something keep going. That is the change. And once you experience the change within your own happening, within your own life, within your own recognition, that is where you deeply come to a point to understand what is the freedom. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line. Be comfortable with your posture and bring attention to your body, please. And scan head to toes yourself and say Sopat Veva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, deeply and gently breathe in, breathe out 3 times, please, and find the sensation. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. Do nothing extra, just recognize it. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away. Already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward, and upward. to all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion. From the bottom of it with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Also may all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata cha amnihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe saddha anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddhang pujemi dhammang pujemi sangham pujemi attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranam paribunjissami Vidamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.